Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna be talking to you about going natural. I know that for many persons this is a really big deal. I know it was for me, and that is why a lot of us transition and we take our times deciding whether we really want to do this or not. But going natural is not as easy as it may seem. It really is a lot of work, to be quite honest. So I'm just gonna give you a few tips that you'll want to bear in mind before going natural. So I've written down 10 points that I think are important points to consider or to bear in mind if you decide to do your big chop or to transition to natural. So let's get right into it. Tip number one, you may not remember your exact curl pattern. So if your hair was being relaxed from you were really small and you have no recollection of what your natural hair looks like, then prepare to not have the curl pattern that you may have in mind. A lot of persons think that going natural, their hair is going to look like maybe their mom's hair or their dad's hair, or persons that you see on YouTube, but then when you do your big chop and your hair starts coming in, it looks completely different. So you may not remember how your curl pattern looks, but you want to prepare yourself mentally and tell yourself that you're going to embrace this curl pattern regardless of what it may be. Tip number two is to try one or two products at a time. Otherwise, you'll end up a product junkie and you'll have way too much products, such as myself. And that is the worst thing, because honestly, you'll end up spending way more money than you want to. And a lot of times we tend to use this as an excuse. If you're living with your parents, you may say, hey, going natural, it's gonna save us money because I don't have to go to the salon every 6 weeks to get my hair done. But then at the end of the day, every day you're asking your parents for money to go buy more hair products, and it's just growing and growing and growing, and that's not gonna look good. Like it's gonna seem as if you're lying about it being cheaper to be natural. So first of all, it isn't cheaper to be natural if you're going to be spending all your money that you'd be saving to go towards buying a million hair products. So I would suggest starting out with one or two key items from each category: leave-in conditioner, shampoo, deep conditioner, and a styler. And after using those for a while, if it doesn't work, then you can try either reselling them before moving on to trying something else. And I say trying it for a while because your hair's porosity will change over time. So maybe you need to clarify your hair, or maybe you need a protein treatment or something, and then your products will seem to work after. Because I know that has happened to me before, where a product doesn't work for my hair, but then when I get a protein treatment and when I go back to that old product, it works perfectly. So don't always just chuck the products out and buy something else. Give it a fair amount of time to test it and to see if maybe you are using it properly. And then if it isn't, then you can move on to something else. Tip number three, embrace each stage of your natural hair journey. So each stage of your natural hair journey is gonna be different. You're gonna be styling your hair different, and maybe there will be a different way in which you'll do certain things, such as deep conditioning. Maybe you'll be, if you have really long hair, then you're gonna be washing it in twists instead of just washing it all out. Every stage has its challenges, but it also has its benefits. So for me, my TWA stage was the best stage because every day when I was just showering, I would be washing my hair, maybe like every other day, but it was so easy. There's no detangling, there's no long process of twisting up my hair. I would literally wash my hair, rake a comb through it, put some leave-in conditioner, some oil, my styler, and that was it. Keep looking up styles for those lengths, because there are tons of videos featuring really short hair, mid-length hair, and long hair, of course. So definitely bear that in mind. Tip number four, mentally prepare yourself for disapproval from some family members, your peers, persons at school. This is something that comes with the territory. To be honest, a lot of persons may not agree with your decision to big chop. I know when I did my big chop, my mom was really upset with me. She didn't even want to let me in the house when I came home from the salon. So not everybody is gonna be on board, but you have to just tell yourself that no matter what, you are going to love it. And even if you don't think it looks amazing to you, you're gonna find a way to stick with it and to work with it. So for me, what I did was I wore lots of makeup and I wore big earrings, and I also used to order from this site. I think it was called iKate House or something like that. But basically I just used to buy like lots of fancy head wraps and flowers and little berets and stuff like that, just to really spice it out. And for me, that made me feel way more confident than just having my hair out with nothing in it. So that worked for me. I'm not saying it's necessarily going to work for you, but you can just look into ways to make your hair your own and to love it regardless of what anyone else says. Tip number 5, wash day is going to get more and more difficult as your hair grows. It's going to keep on changing. So I highly recommend that you try to narrow this down to one particular routine that works for you and stick to it. So if you realize that washing your hair in sections works for you and detangling is easier that way, then continue doing that. If you realize that hot oil treatments work for your hair every 2 weeks and you don't need to deep condition as often, whatever works for you, just stick to it. There's no need to change it unless what you're doing no longer works. So unless you're a YouTuber and you're always switching it up to try new things, if you're just trying to keep your stress levels to a minimum, then find that one routine that works and stick to it. Tip number 6 is to make a schedule and stick to it. And this may seem odd, but a hair care schedule is a pretty easy way to keep you on track and to make sure that you always remember the steps that you need to be taking to take care of your hair. So when I just did my big chop, I used to save it in my phone. So I would do a hot oil treatment like every 2 weeks, and I would deep condition like every other week, and I would shampoo like every 2 weeks and co-wash in between, stuff like that. So I just saved it in my phone and had it on repeat so I would always remember. So this is a great way to keep you on schedule, and this will just kind of ensure that you're staying on top of your hair. One of the biggest mistakes that a lot of naturals, including myself, makes is that we tend to forget that there's quite a few stuff that you probably should be doing to your hair, and then after a while our hair ends up getting neglected. And once you start to neglect your hair, you are going to see signs of this. So if you're forgetting to deep condition or you're neglecting to hot oil treatments and stuff like that, then eventually you're gonna see more shedding, more breakage, or your hair has just reached like a plateau and it's not growing. And when we say, hey, my hair isn't growing, I've been natural for longer than her and it's at the same length, maybe you're skipping some steps that you used to take more pride in when you just did your big chop. The longer your hair gets, the more tedious it's going to be to always have to do stuff like that. But even if you can reduce the frequency but still remember to include it, it's very important that you try to stick to this schedule, and that's really going to help your hair to flourish. So if you want to have good results, then do not neglect to follow a schedule. Tip number 7, probably one of the most important tips I'm going to share with you here today. A lot of times when persons go natural, it becomes so overwhelming. Watch tons of videos and all these girls, their hair looks amazing, and you're like, why does my perm rod set look like trash? Or why does my hair do this? I'm so tired of it. I can't get a proper twist out. And this can cause a lot of persons to get very frustrated, and immediately you're ready to go back to the creamy crap. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, maybe 1 or 2 times I have thought of it, but when I consider the amount of work I put into my hair to get it where it is today, I honestly just, I just don't want to go back to it, because I know once I cream my hair, you can't go back to natural without a big chop. And for me, that is not something that I would want to do. So that's a big deterrent for me. So whenever my hair is giving me hell and I'm honestly over it, then the best thing I would suggest is to throw in a protective style. So go get some braids, go get some twists done, go wear a wig, go put in a weave, anything you want just to get your hands out of your hair. Whenever I do that, then in a week or 2, I'm like, oh, I miss my hair. And then I am ready to put some care in it. I'm like, oh, I probably need to get my hair a new deep conditioner or something. Buying yourself 1 or 2 new products when you're at a really low point in your hair journey can also really motivate you to, hey, let me go try this product out. And then if it works really well, you're just gonna fall in love with your hair all over again. The wins that we have with our hair when we do a twist out or a braid out and it turns out great, generally is a saving grace for natural hair a lot of times, because like I said, it's not an easy road. So another thing is that if you're really experiencing problems with your hair and you're getting frustrated to the point of considering going back to relaxing your hair, then you can also consider clarifying your hair. For me, most of the time when my hair is behaving like a horrible child from the pits of hell, it just needs to be clarified. And then when I do a clarifying treatment, everything just gets right back on schedule, because hair products build up. Your deep conditioner can build up if you're not always washing it out well. Your styling products, if you're using lots of heavy products and stuff, it can really build up on your hair and your scalp. So always clarify at least once a month. And for me, that may be some apple cider vinegar diluted in water. I think it's 1 part apple cider vinegar to 3 parts water or something. I'll put it on the screen for you guys. But putting that in your hair and rinsing your hair with that generally makes your hair feel much better afterwards. And of course, you can buy clarifying shampoo. I don't use sulfate shampoos, but if you do use a sulfate shampoo once in a while, it will get everything off your hair, any gunk that you may have on your hair that's coating your hair strands. Another thing too is protein treatment. So a lot of time my hair feels very rough, or it's not really absorbing my products very well, or it doesn't look very shiny, and I do a protein treatment. And this is where my Ayurvedic stuff comes in, because I love using henna, and henna works great in my DIY mixes that I use for my protein treatments, and it always makes my hair feel amazing, like a brand new head of hair, like awesome. So always consider, do you need a protein treatment, do you need to deep condition, or do you need to clarify? And then if you've tried those and it doesn't work, then like I said, take a break and put some braids in or something, and then try again. So don't give up on your hair. Tip number 8, do not wish for another person's hair texture. This may seem silly because a lot of us watch persons do styles who don't have our hair texture. For example, I can do that. I watch girls with 4C hair and I can try the styles on my hair. For a lot of girls with 4C hair, they can't do some of the styles that other persons may do who have a softer hair texture. And that is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There is no right or wrong hair texture. It basically all boils down to the technique and the products that you are using in your hair. So there are many girls with awesome long 4C hair, and I'll put a list of them here. And you can follow these girls and they will give you tips, and you can see what they do for their hair that helps their hair. If you're finding yourself getting jealous of persons with a different hair type from you, then I would suggest unfollowing all of those persons and follow persons with similar hair types, because there are many girls out there who have similar hair types to the one you have, who can give you great tips and will motivate you to work on the hair that you have. Your hair pattern cannot be changed. So to be jealous of someone else's hair pattern is just going to stress you out, wear you down, and let you get really tired of your natural hair journey. And we don't want that to happen. But I can gather inspiration from everyone. I'm subscribed to persons with all types of hair textures because I see girls doing all types of styles that I try and they work on my hair. Sometimes a style may not work on my hair because it's too slippery and it's just ridiculous. That's okay, because there's still a ton of other styles that will look great on my hair. So just find what works for you and stick to that. Tip number 9, no 2 heads of hair are the same. So do not expect a product that works for a girl who you follow to work for you, even though your hair looks so similar. It doesn't matter how much you think your hair is similar to someone, unless you can physically touch that hair or see it in person, you will never know if it will work for you. So this is a very important tip to bear in mind when you're watching your favorite YouTuber whose hair looks exactly like yours, because you know what, it doesn't necessarily mean that because it works in their hair it will work for yours. But of course, if you want to give it a try, you can still do so. Tip number 10, make friends with persons in the real world and in the virtual world who have natural hair. So it's a good idea to have a kind of support system, and for me, Instagram does that. So I am able to make a lot of friends on Instagram and we chat via DMs. Some of them are on my WhatsApp, and this is a great way to talk about products, what works for someone else, what they might suggest I do if my hair isn't cooperating, and just to get tips and helpful ideas and support. So maybe you are in a country where not many persons have natural hair and you don't really have a support system, and that's where Instagram and the internet comes in. It's great to just find someone that you can talk to and bounce ideas off, someone who will encourage you and give you great ideas. And of course, you always have YouTube and Google. So if you need help with anything, you can always Google the question, and there almost always will be an article relating to whatever problem you are having. Website that was particularly helpful to me when I just did my big chop was naturallycurly.com. It has online forums and lots of articles relating to many different things and a million different topics relating to natural hair. So that's also a great place to start. I really hope you guys found this video helpful. I'm sorry if it went on a little bit too long, but I wanted it to be very helpful, and I really wanted to cover a lot of these topics that I wish I knew before I went natural. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for helping me to reach 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. I feel so blessed. I am so happy. I'm so grateful to all of you guys. Thank you to everyone who is always commenting, liking my videos, sharing my videos. It means so much to me, and I really love each and every one of you guys. So thank you so much for the love and the support. And if you like this video, please share it with your friends, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!